The restaurant La Viche was shining like a golden dream that night. Soft music floated in the air, expensive perfumes mixed with the smell of delicious food. The lights were warm, and everything looked perfect. Rich guests laughed at their tables, wearing fancy clothes and diamond watches. At the corner, Maya adjusted her black apron. She was a young black waitress, with bright eyes and a calm smile. Maya had worked at La Viche for 6 months. She was polite, fast, and never made mistakes. All the other staff liked her because she was kind and hardworking. Tonight felt different. There was a strange feeling in the air, like a quiet storm waiting to break. Maya picked up a tray full of drinks and walked carefully toward table 7, the VIP table. Sitting there was Mr. Dalton, a very rich man. He was known for his bad temper and rude behavior. Everyone in the restaurant knew not to upset Mr. Dalton. Even the managers stayed away from him. Maya took a deep breath. "Stay calm. Be polite," she told herself. She reached the table and smiled warmly. "Good evening, sir. Here are your drinks." Mr. Dalton looked at her like she was dirt. He didn't smile back. Instead, he picked up his glass slowly, almost lazily. Maya placed the tray down and turned to serve the next drink. Suddenly, splash! Cold water poured down Maya's face and uniform. The whole tray slipped from her hands and crashed to the floor. Glass shattered. The soft music stopped. The restaurant froze. Every single guest turned their heads toward table 7. Maya stood there, dripping wet. Her heart beat fast. Her hands shook. But her face stayed calm. She didn't cry. She didn't shout. She didn't move. Mr. Dalton leaned back in his chair and laughed loudly. "You clumsy little thing," he shouted, his voice sharp and cruel. "You people are only good for cleaning floors, not serving tables." A sharp pain hit Maya's chest, but she remembered her mother's words, "Never let anger steal your dignity." She wiped her face gently with a small napkin and took a deep breath. All around, guests whispered. Some looked shocked, some looked embarrassed. No one spoke. No one moved. Even the manager, Mr. Harris, stood far away, pretending he didn't see anything. Mr. Dalton was too important. His money was too important. Maya could feel hundreds of eyes on her, some full of pity, some full of judgment, some waiting for her to explode, waiting for her to break down. But Maya did something no one expected. She smiled, a soft, calm smile. "Thank you, sir," she said in a clear voice. "Would you like anything else?" The restaurant gasped. Mr. Dalton's face turned red with anger. He wasn't expecting kindness. He wanted drama. He wanted to see her cry. But Maya refused to give him that power. In the corner of the restaurant, an old man watched everything silently. He wore a simple gray suit and had kind, sharp eyes. He leaned back in his chair, studying Maya closely. "Interesting," he thought. Mr. Dalton slammed his hand on the table. "Get me your manager," he barked. "Right now." Maya nodded politely and walked slowly toward the manager's desk, leaving wet footprints behind her. Inside, her heart was burning. She wanted to scream. She wanted to throw something, but she remembered. Stay strong. Stay bigger than their hate. Behind her, the restaurant slowly started to whisper again. Some guests looked ashamed. Some looked curious. Everyone felt something shift in the air, like they had just witnessed something powerful. The old man in the corner smiled softly. He knew. This was no ordinary waitress. This was a storm hidden in silence. And tonight, that storm had just begun. Maya walked back to the staff counter, her clothes still wet, her shoes making soft squish sounds with each step. But her face stayed calm, her back straight. She didn't look left or right. She didn't care about the whispers around her. She had learned long ago, if you stop walking, the world runs over you. Behind her, Mr. Dalton was still shouting. His voice echoed through the restaurant. "Where is the manager? Do you people want to lose your jobs?" At the counter, the manager, Mr. Harris, stood frozen. His forehead was sweaty. His hands trembled slightly. He had seen everything, but he didn't move earlier. Why? Because Mr. Dalton was not just any guest. He was a powerful investor. He owned shares in the hotel group. Messing with him could mean losing everything. Maya looked at Mr. Harris, but she didn't speak. She knew what his silence meant. He wasn't going to protect her. Not today. "I'm sorry," he whispered without meeting her eyes. "Just go to the kitchen. Take a break. I'll handle it." Maya said nothing. She turned to leave. As she passed by the guests, many looked away, ashamed. One woman tried to smile at her. Another man nodded slightly in respect. But no one said anything aloud. No one stood up for her. Except for one man. The old man in the gray suit. He sat in the far corner, quietly finishing his coffee. His eyes didn't leave Maya for even a second. He watched her calm steps, her wet clothes, her proud silence. And he smiled. Not out of pity, but out of interest. "Who is she?" he thought. "And why does she remind me of someone?" He took out a small notebook and wrote something down. Across the room, Mr. Dalton shouted again. "Are you people all deaf? I said I want the manager." Finally, Mr. Harris walked toward his table, forcing a fake smile. "Sir, I'm really sorry for the trouble. She didn't mean to." "Don't make excuses," Dalton snapped. "Fire her. Right now. In front of everyone." Maya heard this from the kitchen doorway. Her fists tightened, but she didn't turn back. Suddenly, a glass clinked. Everyone looked toward the corner. The old man stood up. He slowly walked toward Mr. Dalton's table. The room went quiet again. Mr. Dalton looked annoyed. "What now? Who are you?" The old man smiled politely. "Just a customer, sir. But I saw everything. And I must say, the young waitress handled the situation better than most CEOs." Mr. Dalton laughed. "Are you joking? She made a mess." "No," the man said calmly. "You did." The silence grew heavier. Mr. Harris looked pale. He knew who this old man was now. Mr. Graham Winston, the secret owner of the restaurant chain. Mr. Winston turned to Maya, who had stopped in her tracks. He nodded at her with respect. "You have more class in your silence than some people have in their whole lives," he said. Maya's eyes widened. Everyone in the restaurant started whispering again. This was not just some old guest. This was someone powerful. Mr. Dalton's face turned white. Mr. Winston looked around. "Let me make something clear to everyone here. We do not treat our staff like this. I will not allow this in my restaurants." He paused, then turned to Maya. "You, young lady, have shown strength, control, and grace. I'd like to talk to you after your shift. We may have something better for you." Maya's lips parted slightly in surprise, but she nodded slowly. For the first time that night, Mr. Dalton had nothing to say. And just like that, the power in the room shifted. The girl everyone thought was weak had just changed the game. But deep inside Maya's heart, one thought still echoed. Why did this happen tonight? And why did that old man really stand up for me? She had no idea. This was only the beginning. Maya stood near the kitchen door, her wet clothes still clinging to her skin. The whole restaurant was staring at her, but this time, not with pity, with respect. Mr. Winston's words still echoed in the room. "You, young lady, have shown strength, control, and grace." No one had ever said that to her before, not at work, not in school, not even in her past jobs where she worked harder than everyone else. She felt a strange warmth inside her chest. But she didn't smile. Not yet. Because Maya knew this moment was not the end. This was just the eye of the storm. Mr. Dalton sat stiff in his chair. His lips were pressed tight. He was embarrassed and angry. Very angry. People were whispering. Some guests were even smiling at Maya. A few even clapped softly, breaking the heavy silence. Dalton slammed his fist on the table again. "This is nonsense," he growled. "You're letting a servant disrespect a paying customer." Mr. Winston turned toward him slowly. "She didn't disrespect you, sir. You disrespected her." Mr. Dalton's mouth opened, but no words came out. He had never been talked to like that. Not in public. Not by someone richer than him. And not because of a waitress. Maya stepped forward. She was tired of hiding. Tired of being silent. She walked up to the table, head high, shoulders straight. She looked Mr. Dalton in the eyes. There was no fear in her face. Only fire. A calm, quiet fire. "Sir," she said, her voice gentle but strong, "I came to serve you, not to be humiliated. I treated you with respect, even after what you did." Mr. Dalton scoffed. "You think you're brave now, because someone stood up for you." Maya didn't blink. "No, I was brave the moment I chose to stay calm when you threw water on me." The restaurant fell silent again. Even the music hadn't started back yet. Everyone could feel it. This wasn't just a young girl speaking. This was power. This was control. This was a woman who had faced worse and refused to break. In the corner, Mr. Winston watched with interest. He took a sip of his coffee and smiled. "She has something special," he thought. Mr. Dalton stood up now, face red with rage. "I'm a respected man. I spend thousands here every month. This is how you repay me." Maya replied softly, "Respect isn't about money. It's about how you treat people." Those words hit hard, not just for Dalton, but for everyone in the room. Mr. Harris, the manager, stepped forward nervously. Maybe we should all just calm down." Mr. Winston raised a hand. "No, Harris. Let them speak." Dalton turned to leave, then paused. "This isn't over," he muttered. "You'll regret this." Maya didn't say anything. She didn't need to, because her silence was louder than his threats. As Mr. Dalton walked out of the restaurant, people turned their faces away from him. No one clapped. No one smiled. His pride had walked in with him, but it didn't walk out. And Maya, she stood in the middle of the restaurant, soaked, quiet, but unshaken. A woman at a nearby table smiled at her. "You were amazing," she whispered. A man nodded. "You taught us something tonight." Maya felt her eyes sting. Not with sadness, with strength, with pride. Later that night, when her shift ended, Maya went to the back room to change. She sat alone for a while, remembering everything. The splash of the water, the silence in the room, her calm voice. Mr. Winston's words. "You have shown strength, control, and grace." She whispered to herself, "Maybe I'm stronger than I thought." But deep inside, she also felt a new question rise. Why did that man really help me? Who is he? And what does he want from me? She didn't know yet. But soon, she would find out. And it would change everything. After her shift ended, Maya sat alone on a small bench behind the restaurant. The cold night air touched her skin, but she didn't feel it. Her clothes were still a little damp, but her mind was far away, lost in memories she usually kept locked deep inside. That night had opened something inside her, and when she closed her eyes, the past came flooding back. Years ago, small town Georgia. Maya was just 10 years old when she first felt what it meant to be different. Her mother worked 2 jobs, cleaning houses during the day and working at a gas station at night. Maya used to wait at home, finishing her homework with only a candle when the electricity was cut off again. At school, the other kids teased her. They laughed at her clothes, her shoes, her skin. Teachers ignored her hand when she raised it in class. She was invisible, unless someone wanted to say something mean. One day, during lunch, a boy pushed her tray on the floor and laughed. "Go clean that up, maid girl." Everyone laughed. Maya didn't. She picked up her tray, cleaned the mess, and sat down. Quiet, calm. That night, she told her mother what happened. Her mother didn't get angry. She didn't cry. She just sat beside Maya and said something Maya would never forget. People can take your money, your job, even your home. But don't ever let them take your dignity. You stay calm. You stay kind. That's your power. Maya had lived by those words ever since. Back to present, behind the restaurant. Maya opened her eyes. She remembered every scar, every word, every tear she never showed. And she realized something. That little girl who was bullied. That teenager who worked 2 shifts to help her mom. That young woman who was looked down on by rich guests. All of them were still inside her. And they were not weak. They were strong. Stronger than the man who threw water on her. Stronger than the manager who stayed silent. Stronger than the world that tried to break her. Suddenly, the door behind her opened. She turned. It was Mr. Winston. The old man walked toward her slowly, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to her and sat down beside her. Maya hesitated. "Why are you here?" she asked softly. Mr. Winston smiled. "To talk and to listen." She looked at him carefully. "Are you really the owner?" He nodded. "Yes, I started this restaurant chain 25 years ago. I built it from nothing." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Why help me?" He looked at her, his eyes gentle. "Because I've seen many people in my life. Rich people, smart people, famous people, but very few have what you have." She stayed quiet. He continued. "You didn't shout. You didn't cry. You didn't run. That kind of strength, it can't be taught. It comes from pain, from experience." Maya looked down. "I've had enough of both." He nodded. "That's why you're ready for something bigger." She looked at him sharply. "What do you mean?" He sipped his coffee. "I'll explain soon. But tonight, just know this. You're not just a waitress. You're a leader. You just haven't been given the chance yet." Maya stared into the night sky, her heart pounding with questions. Leader, bigger, why me? But she said nothing. She just took a sip of the warm coffee. And for the first time in a long time, she smiled. The next morning, Maya woke up early. The memory of last night was still fresh. The cold water, the silence, the old man's words. She sat on the edge of her small bed, staring at the dusty window. Leader, bigger? The words repeated in her mind like a song she couldn't turn off. She dressed quickly in clean clothes and walked to LAUSH for her next shift. She didn't know what to expect. Would Mr. Winston still be there? Would Mr. Dalton come back for revenge? Her heart beat fast, but her steps were steady. When she arrived, the restaurant was already buzzing. Staff members whispered in corners. Some smiled at her. Some looked away, ashamed. Maya went straight to the back to clock in. As she entered the hallway, she froze. Standing there, waiting for her, was Mr. Harris, the manager. And next to him was a young woman Maya had never seen before. The woman wore a smart black suit and held a silver tablet in her hand. Mr. Harris looked nervous. "Maya," he said, clearing his throat. "This is Miss Carter. She's from the head office." Maya frowned slightly. "Head office?" Miss Carter smiled politely but coldly. "I'm here because of last night's incident." Maya's stomach twisted. Miss Carter tapped on her tablet. "Several guests complained about the behavior of a VIP guest and praised your professional response." Maya blinked. "Praised her?" Ms. Carter continued. "We also received a full report from Mr. Graham Winston himself." Maya stayed silent, listening carefully. Ms. Carter's smile grew warmer. "He said he saw leadership qualities in you, and he recommended you for something special." Maya's heart skipped a beat. Mr. Harris looked shocked too. He hadn't expected this. Miss Carter handed Maya a sealed white envelope. Maya opened it carefully. Inside was a simple letter. "Congratulations. You are invited to join the management training program. A full scholarship, new salary, and leadership mentoring included. Welcome to a new beginning." Maya stared at the letter. Her hands shook slightly. Was this real? Was this actually happening? Mr. Harris tried to smile. It's a big opportunity, Maya. Ms. Carter nodded. Only 5 people are selected each year. It's rare. Maya looked up. Why me? Ms. Carter answered simply, because you proved something most people can't. Strength under pressure. Maya swallowed hard. All the nights she cried alone, all the times she worked double shifts, all the moments she stayed silent instead of screaming. They were not wasted. They had brought her here, to this moment. But just as she was about to speak, someone else walked into the hallway. It was the woman from last night, the lady who had smiled at her after the water incident. Maya had barely noticed her then. The woman walked up and said softly, "You don't remember me, do you?" Maya shook her head, confused. The woman smiled. "That's okay. You were busy. But I saw everything. I recorded it." She held up her phone. Maya's eyes widened. The woman continued, "I posted the video online last night. It's already gone viral. Millions of views." Maya's mouth opened in shock. Ms. Carter's eyes lit up. "So that's why the news reached the head office so fast." The woman laughed gently. "People needed to see what real strength looks like. You're an inspiration, Maya." Maya stood frozen. All her life, she had fought to be seen. And now, the whole world was watching. Miss Carter tucked her tablet under her arm. "We're lucky to have you," she said firmly. "But Maya, fame can be dangerous too. People will expect more from you now." Maya nodded slowly. She wasn't afraid. She had fought harder battles in silence. She could face whatever came next, in the light. As she folded the letter and placed it in her pocket, Maya realized something important. She was not just surviving anymore. She was rising. And nothing, no rich guest, no cruel word, no silent manager, could stop her now. Maya sat at her small table that night, staring at the letter again. She had read it at least 10 times. The management training program. Full scholarship. New salary. Leadership mentoring. It sounded like a dream. But something deep inside her whispered, "Big dreams come with big dangers." The next morning, Maya arrived at the city's head office. The building was tall, glassy, and shining like a mirror. Everything felt different. The people, the air, even the silence. No more trays. No more cleaning tables. Now it was time to learn how to lead. But it wouldn't be easy. Inside the office, Maya was guided to a conference room with 4 other people. All of them looked sharp. Suits, clean shoes, confident eyes. Maya wore her simple clothes and held a second-hand notebook. One of the trainees, a young man with perfect hair and a cold smile, leaned toward her. "You're the waitress, right?" he whispered. Maya stayed calm. "I was." He smirked. "Let's see how long you last." Their first session started with leadership exercises. Maya listened carefully, took notes, asked smart questions. The trainer, a sharp woman named Ms. Grant, noticed. By the end of the first week, Maya had already stood out, but not everyone liked that. Especially Daniel, the same man who mocked her. He had been in the company longer. He came from money. He expected to win the top spot in the program. And now, a waitress was threatening that. Unacceptable. One day, after a team project, Ms. Grant praised Maya. "Excellent thinking," she said in front of everyone. "This is what leadership looks like." Daniel's smile disappeared. That night, Maya found a note in her locker. "You don't belong here. Stay in your lane." She stared at the note for a long time, then folded it quietly and placed it in her bag. Later that week, Ms. Carter from head office called Maya into her office. She looked serious. "Maya," she said, "there's a problem." Maya's heart dropped. Ms. Carter turned her laptop screen toward her. It showed a news article with Maya's photo. The headline read, "From waitress to manager. Is she ready?" And below it, dozens of comments. Some supportive, some cruel. Maya read one out loud. She's only getting attention because of a viral video. No real skills. Her hands tightened into fists. Ms. Carter watched her. "This is the cost of fame," she said quietly. "People will try to pull you down." Maya nodded. "I'm not afraid of comments." "But you should be careful," Ms. Carter said. "Someone in the program may have leaked this." Maya thought for a second. Daniel. The next day, Daniel smiled as if nothing had happened. Maya didn't confront him. Not yet. She remembered her mother's words again. "You stay calm. You stay kind. That's your power." But inside, she made a promise. "I won't run. I won't quit. I'll rise, no matter who stands in my way." By the end of the week, Ms. Grant gave them a final challenge. Design a project to improve the company. The winner would be promoted directly to assistant manager. This was Maya's moment. But Daniel wasn't done playing dirty. And Maya had no idea what trap he was setting. The big day had arrived. All 5 trainees stood inside the main conference hall. Senior leaders, managers, and even Mr. Winston himself sat in the front row. The tension in the room was thick. Each trainee had to present their project, an idea to improve the company. The winner would get the assistant manager position, a real job, a real future. Maya's heart beat fast, but her face was calm. She had prepared for this moment her whole life, not with money, not with connections, but with strength, patience, and quiet fire. Daniel went first. He walked on stage confidently and presented a flashy project filled with charts and buzzwords. "Automated guest tracking system using AI and facial recognition," he said proudly. The crowd clapped politely. But Maya noticed something. Daniel's project wasn't his. She had read something similar online days ago. Same words, same idea. He had copied it. Maya's name was called next. She walked up slowly. The lights were bright, the room quiet. She took a deep breath and began. "My project is simple," she said. "It's not about machines or data. It's about people." Some raised eyebrows. Maya continued, "I want to create a program that trains low-level staff, like servers and cleaners, to become leaders. Real training, real chances." There was silence. She didn't stop. "I was a waitress. I cleaned tables. But I had ideas, and I had dreams. No one ever asked me what I thought, until one man did, and that changed everything." She looked at Mr. Winston. He gave her a slow nod. Maya stepped forward. "There are hundreds of people like me in your restaurants. Quiet, hard-working, overlooked. But what if we trained them, trusted them, invested in them?" She paused. "That's not just good for business, it's good for the world." The room stayed quiet for a moment. Then, soft claps. Then louder. Then everyone stood up. It was a standing ovation. Maya looked down, trying not to cry. But before the judges could vote, Maya did something no one expected. She turned to the panel. "I believe in fairness," she said. "So before the winner is chosen, I have something to say." She pulled out her tablet and tapped a button. On the big screen, a website appeared. It was the original source of Daniel's project, posted 2 years ago by a tech startup. Gasps filled the room. Maya said nothing. She didn't accuse. She just showed the truth. That was enough. Daniel's face turned red. He didn't speak. He just slowly sat down. The judges left for 10 minutes. When they returned, Ms. Grant smiled. "We've made our decision." Everyone leaned in. The winner of the assistant manager position is Maya Lewis. The room exploded in applause. Mr. Winston stood and clapped the loudest. Maya stood still for a moment, taking it all in. Then she smiled. A full, proud, peaceful smile. 1 week later, Maya walked through a different door now. Not the back door for staff. The front door, the one for leaders. She wore a clean blazer, a name tag that said, Assistant Manager, Maya Lewis. People greeted her with respect. And somewhere deep inside, she whispered to her younger self, "We made it." And in another part of the city, a single poster was placed inside every restaurant in the company. Success isn't about where you start. It's about what you choose to become. Maya Lewis,